Hello, my name is Jake Dywert. I'm with the Ball State University Fisher Center. Welcome to today's video. It is the third in a series where I've been doing a mix of informational videos and some quick tutorials. In today's, I'll be taking a look at Discord, which is an excellent tool if you're looking for on-demand communication, or especially when you're going to expect ongoing or recurring visitors. Discord is going to be an especially strong option if you're looking to maintain communication with your coworkers, or if you're looking to build and cultivate a strong online community. To sum up Discord, we're basically going to have a mix of text and voice channels that are always available, and you can just hop into one or the other whenever you need to talk to somebody. If you're looking for the TLDR of what is Discord, basically think of it as a server that you create, and it'll have a mix of both text and voice channels that are always available, and if you need to talk to somebody, you can just hop right in without having to send out invitations. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, and before you hit that X button in your browser to get away from this video as fast as you can, don't worry, setting up a server is way simpler than it sounds. So in this video, I'll be breaking down how to get started in Discord over just 3 sections. We'll be creating our own server, creating a text and voice channel within that server, and setting up a simple bot that will help moderate some of the more basic functions in Discord. So let's go. Obviously, you will need an account with Discord to get started. So if you go to discord.com, you'll have a couple options here. You can either download the software to your computer. I'm on a Windows machine, so it says download for Windows, or you can just choose to operate within your browser. So maybe you're on an issued laptop and you don't have the ability to download the software. You can still use Discord, and you'll just be operating out of your browser of choice. For this video, I'm just going to go up here and log in. It's already got my info because I already have an account, but if you needed one, you would just click on register down here, and then it's pretty self-explanatory. Just type in your info and boom, you've got an account. I'm going to keep walking you through Discord from the browser perspective, but if you are using the downloaded app, it's going to look basically exactly the same as it does in the browser. So it shouldn't throw you off too much. So one other thing I want to address in this video, originally Discord was created with the intention of being used by gamers and basically in-game comms. So you might see some things that are a little off-putting to you if you're looking for a more serious use for Discord. But hopefully that doesn't distract you too much, because it is still going to be a really great tool for building a community regardless of your audience. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and get started on that first server. In the upper left, this plus icon will give you a dialog box. You'll have a couple templates, but for this first one, let's go ahead and just do create my own. That way we aren't just starting with a template, and you'll get a better feel for how to make a custom server rather than just have it being all done for you and maybe it's not exactly what you want. So for this one, let's say that we're creating one for a community. We'll have an option to upload a little icon picture, server name, that's fine, we'll just go with that. BSU Fisher server, and create. And just like that, we've got our first server created. Easy enough, right? You can see here on the left, it comes with 2 channels already set up, one text and one voice. So let's add just a couple more channels here so we can start looking at configuration settings. So to start creating channels, we will click on the create channel plus icon, which will give us 2 options. We can either create new text channels or voice channels. These voice channels, as it notes, are going to be good for also video calls or screen sharing with others. So for the first one, we'll make a text channel. In this scenario for this video, let's assume that we're going to create rooms for our emerging media design and development program. So this first channel, let's say we want it to be good for students to be able to collaborate with each other, ask questions, or maybe the teachers can chime in with some answers if they're on. So we'll just call this EMDD talk and create the channel. And let's go ahead and make another one for voice. So for this one, we will click voice channel, and let's just call this one EMDD collaboration. And then you do have the option to make these private channels. I'll get into permissions a little bit later in the video, but basically what this would do, if you slide it to the right, it would only allow people that you have given permissions specifically to be able to utilize that channel that you've made. You can assign permissions either individually, or you can create roles for groups of people. We'll leave that off for now and just go ahead and create the channel. And now you can see all 4 of our channels that we've got here on the left. Leaving and joining channels is as simple as left clicking on them. You can toggle between them, and same thing for the voice channels. When you're in a voice channel, you will be able to see yourself and everyone else in that voice channel. Even when you're not in it, you would still be able to see everyone that's participating in that channel at any given time. You can toggle between these pretty easily. When you're ready to leave a voice channel, you can just disconnect here. So I think you can start to see how it's a really convenient tool. You don't have to worry about emailing out invites every time you need to communicate with your group. You can just say, hey, let's pop in the Discord channel, and everyone just logs in, boom, you're there ready to go. I don't want to dig too much into the personal settings for Discord because I think that goes a little bit beyond the scope of getting this initial server ready to go, but your user settings just are down here in the lower left. Maybe for the sake of testing your own server, you may want to make sure that your voice and video are set up properly, so you would just check those options here, and then you can make sure that you've got the correct input and output devices and your volume settings proper. Other than that, I would just encourage you to take a look at these settings and play around with them, see what you like, what you prefer. You don't really need me to tell you how to do that. So let's go back to the main screen, and of course we want other people in our Discord community with us, so let's look at invites. If we want to bring people into the server, click on the drop down and invite people. From here, it'll give you a link that you can copy for invites and send out. If you've used Zoom or WebEx or any other web conferencing software, I'm sure you're familiar with this concept. By default, it will expire in 7 days, but if you want it to just be an ongoing invitation link, you can check that box. You can get a couple more options here. If you just want to send out a quick link, maybe you've got an afternoon meeting that you want to add some people into, you can have it set for just a very short time frame. Or you can also set it by users. Maybe you've got an office with 5 people working in it and you know you only want 5 people to be joining the server. And then you can set it to 5 uses, and then the link will expire once those are used up. I went ahead and sent an invitation over to my personal Discord account, and you can see I have joined the server on that account now. So let's take a look at permissions. I like making these examples somewhat practical. So let's say in this scenario, we want to make a chat room where professors can communicate with us staff here at the Fisher Center for scheduling purposes, and maybe we don't care about having the students see that conversation. So let's make a private channel, and we'll just call this logistics. And we'll hit next. And so here we have the option to either set roles or specific members that we want to be able to access this channel. Now, we haven't set up roles yet, so just right now I'm going to go ahead and hit our one member that we have in the server and create channel. So then if we had other people that were on this server at this point, they would not be able to access this logistics. And you can see that with this little icon. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's a little padlock icon there, but if you hover over it, it will say limited. If you need to make any other adjustments to channels that have already been created, you would just click this gear icon here to edit the channel, whether it's a private channel or just a channel that's open to everyone on the server. You've got your overview, which is pretty self-explanatory. Slow mode, if you're not familiar with it, if you've got a really busy server, maybe you've got even hundreds of people in here, you could consider turning on slow mode. That way it's just not getting flooded with spam and hard for anyone to have a conversation. If it's a relatively small server, then you probably won't have to worry about that. For permissions, we haven't set any roles yet, so we don't have anything there, but you can see the members that have been added to this so far, and then it will break it down by roles and members here. If you drop down advanced permissions, you can see the everyone role, which is anyone not specified yet. They're not even able to view the channel. If you go by specific member, I've already been invited on my personal account, so I'm able to see the channel, and then you can adjust specific permissions from there. So if I was looking to make Jake Dywert a more of a moderator role, I could set it so he could manage the channel. Maybe I want to let him manage permissions. Maybe I don't want him to create invites though. We want to let him send messages, link to third-party sites, attach files to share with the group, add reactions if we just want to put emojis for fun. Now, just from personal experience, or maybe just me being paranoid, I do usually X the external emojis because maybe someone has some not safe for work emojis from other servers that they're part of, and it's just not worth the risk to me personally, so I usually turn that off. We can let them mention other people. They can manage the message, read the history, and that's fine for now. So we'll save the changes, and then that user is all set for what we want here. If you wanted to add anyone else, you could just hit the plus icon, and if you have more members of your server, then they would appear there, and you could adjust them just like we did. Being mindful of security, let's also take a look at invites real quick. From this page, you can create new invites, and you can also view invitations that are currently active, and you can see who created those invitations as well. It will tell you how long they're good for, and if for any reason you don't want that to be active any longer, you can just X out of it, and then that invite link will no longer be good. And obviously you can also delete the channel when you're done with it. I like to make a pass through servers occasionally just to see if there are any that are not being used, or maybe they've already served the purpose. Deleting those from time to time will just help keep the server uncluttered and a lot easier to navigate. So for the last part of this video, I'm just going to briefly touch on setting up a bot for our Discord server and also managing roles for the bot and the users. For this video, I'm going to be using the Me6 bot. It's one of the more popular ones out there. It's fairly straightforward. There are some others out there if you would like to look around before deciding. But for Me6, just go to me6.xyz. You'll click log in. It'll give you a pop-up asking you to authorize and give it access to your Discord server. I'm not going to flash that on the screen just so I'm not giving out my tag publicly, but when you click authorize, it will then begin connecting to your Discord server. And there we go, I've got it here, and set up Me6. All right, now we have authorized Me6 to access our Discord server. So let's hop back over to Discord. We can see Me6 is now on. It is labeled as a bot. Let's join the channel. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create roles for bots and also maybe another role for users. So to create roles, we're going to click the drop down on the server settings, and roles is the second option here. I'm going to create a new role. We're going to call this one owner. This one's just going to be for myself as the highest level admin on the server. You can see a lot of different options here for privileges that you can assign to either people or roles. But the last one is the one that we want, administrator. That's going to give you access to all of the above privileges. We will save the changes, and then I want to drag that role up to the top so it has highest priority. And again, save changes. Now you can see earlier when we authorized Me6 to have access to the Discord, it already created its own role. As you scroll through here, it has assigned itself all these permissions and administrator. Now, that may seem a little scary, but it's just a bot, and it's going to need those privileges to be able to provide any value and help you moderate your own server. And if you're working with another bot, maybe it didn't assign itself admin privileges, then you would just create another role for it and assign it whatever privileges it needs to perform its duty. Now, just make sure that whatever you're assigning is under the owner role, because you don't want to assign anything else being ahead of you if maybe someone gets access to it and then they're able to assign other administrators, and that's just not a good situation. So now that we've made sure that we have our own role for us as the owner of the server above any bot channels, and we've confirmed that Me6 does also have its own role on the server, let's take a look at a couple of these options here. For the first one, welcome message, you can just turn this on and you can select a specific channel that you want welcome messages to be broadcast out to. Maybe if you didn't want it to go to the general channel and flood the chat there, then you could go back to your Discord server and create a specific welcome channel. But if you choose that, then it'll just give a custom message. You can type whatever you want here, and it'll say that every time anyone accepts an invite. You can get pretty detailed and fancy here if you're a little more aesthetically inclined than I am. Making cards or colors for your users. You can even set a message when someone leaves. Maybe you can say something like, "We didn't want you here anyway." No, I'm just kidding. Probably the most useful thing that you'll find here in MEE6 though is the custom commands. Don't worry, it's not super complicated. It's really just as simple as setting a command and then what you want that command to do. Commands are all going to start with an exclamation point followed by a specified command name. So for the scenario we're working with, let's say we have a bunch of Discord users and we're finding that each time somebody new pops in, they're always trying to figure out what the address is for the Fisher Center. So instead of us having to manually respond every time, let's make a command that will automatically reply to them and give them that information. So let's make this command exclamation point location, and every time a user types that command in, they will be given the address to the Fisher Center. From there, we can control how this command is and is not used. So we can control which roles are able to use the command, which roles can't use the command, channels that we don't want the command used in. So if you want to keep a specific channel very clean and only used for a specific topic of conversation, maybe you don't want people flooding it with commands, then you could add that in there. Maybe if you find it's just getting spammed over and over and you don't want it to be flooding any channel, then you could do a server cooldown, and then someone could ping that only like every 3 minutes, for example. And one thing that I would like to do is delete command usage. That way, every time someone types in exclamation point location, it's going to automatically delete the command and only have this information there. So let's go ahead and add that one in, and then we'll pop back over to our Discord server. Let's try it out in general. I'm going to type exclamation point location, and perfect. The bot automatically responds with the address for our Fisher Center. That's going to do it for today's video. There's obviously more that you can do with MEE6 and configuring your Discord server and customizing it to whatever specific need you have for it. But at this point, you do know how to create a server, add channels to that server, invite members, and create a basic bot that will send messages for you. So thanks for watching. If you do have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks.